Hi friends, welcome back to Farm Girl Diaries. It is finally pepper planting day, so I'm going to bring you along with some of my tips and tricks for planting peppers. So first of all, our last 50-degree night, at least on the 10-day forecast, was 2 nights ago. So from here on out, at night it's supposed to stay above 50 degrees. And that's what I really look for when planting my peppers. It is the weekend before Memorial Day, so it's I think May 20th. And compared to a lot of the nurseries around me, the farm stores, and a lot of other home gardeners around me, they already have their peppers in. However, I follow Jess from Roots of Refuge. I follow her advice for planting my peppers, and I've noticed a different level of success. So before I found Jess, I used to plant my peppers when I planted everything else, so my peppers would have been in the ground probably 2 weeks at this point. However, my peppers plant kind of stayed small and kind of puny. I don't think I had as many peppers as I maybe should have. However, since I've waited and I plant them out only when they're not going to get below 50 degrees, I've noticed my pepper plants get bigger. I get much more fruit. I get bigger fruit. I've noticed a better quality in my plants. So that's what I do from here on out. Peppers are sensitive to the cold. They don't like it when it gets too cold. They also don't like it when it gets too hot. So I like to put them in the ground before it gets, or I like to put them in the ground after the nights warm up and they're not getting below 50 degrees anymore. And then that gives them a good chance to get really nice and established before it gets too hot outside. So I have all my peppers here ready to go. We're going to talk about the varieties that I have, but we're also going to be doing something that I honestly should have done before, and I didn't. I've been saying I was going to do this for about 3 weeks, and I just kept not doing it. But we're going to pinch our peppers. So the reason we pinch our peppers is to allow them to bush out. So instead of having one single stem growing, by cutting that stem, you actually allow for a bushier plant, which means you get more fruit. It becomes a better, bushier plant. So we're going to be pinching them, and all that means is we have these are paprika peppers here, and they are a little tall. But all I'm going to go is I'm going to pinch the new growth that's happening. I'm just going to pinch that off. And you could go down 1 or 2 leaves. I could actually take this next set of leaves down. But I'm just going to pinch the new growth. And that's just going to, like I said, encourage the plant to grow out. It does seem a little scary to kind of top your plants like this, but it does work. I've noticed a good amount of success doing this. I've definitely noticed that my plants get bigger and bushier by doing this, so this is something I do every single time. So before I get these in the ground, I'm just going to go do some pinching, and they will grow back. It does seem scary. I get it. The first time I did it, I was very nervous to do it. But they will grow. They will come back. So this is a gorgeous pepper. This is an orange yummy. I want to talk about this real quick. This is going to go into the ground obviously today, but it is actually starting to bloom inside the flower. There's 2 little flower buds right at the base of this flower. I'm going to pinch all of that off. Let me come and show you. So you can see there are 2, I guess 3 little flower buds inside that leaf. What people do a lot is when they go to buy plants from the store, and I did too before I knew any better, you buy the plants that are already flowering, or that maybe even already have fruit on them, and you think you got a good deal. Because, I'm going to have fruit sooner than some that don't. And you don't actually want to do that. Because what you're doing is you want the plant to focus on setting roots. That's how you get a stronger, healthier plant. You don't want the plant to be worried about setting fruit and producing. So whenever you go to plant your plants, make sure there's no flowers on them. If there are, you want to pinch them off. Look at that all at once in the sky. You want to pinch them off because you want the plant to focus on getting developed and set in its new spot and not worried about setting flowers. So I have 2 I have two sets of peppers. I don't know what they are. Their tags fell out of them. They are surprise peppers. So I'm just gonna put these in the ground and see what happens. And then this year I'm growing. So I've been growing cayenne peppers for a few years now. I use cayenne for my spice. I dry them out and I make my own cayenne pepper spice. But this year I also got a paprika pepper. So I'm really excited to have a paprika pepper. And I actually did have to buy, unfortunately, my banana peppers. I only bought 3 because my banana peppers, I think I have 1 in here, and it just does not look good. So I did buy 3 banana peppers. Ooh, and I bought a pickling cucumber because my pickling cucumber does not look good. So I need to plant that guy today. Or my pickling cucumber actually didn't germinate, is what I meant to say. So I'm just getting all of my peppers topped. Now, in addition, when you're planting peppers do okay when you plant them close together. So I will be planting mine probably about 1.5 feet apart from each other. Now, here's something, I'll be honest, I don't understand this at all. People ask me about this every single year, and I always say I'm not worried about it. If this is something that is concerning to you, I do some research, obviously, for it. I try to understand it, and I just don't think I'm intelligent enough to understand it. But the whole idea of cross-pollination. So, I've had people ask me, if I plant a jalapeno plant beside a sweet banana pepper, is it going to make, or beside a bell, is it going to make the not hot pepper hot? And I don't think I've had that experience. I am sensitive to heat a little bit. Like, I can handle a little bit of heat, but I can't handle a lot of heat. So I don't know. That's one thing I don't know. I know when you talk about saving seeds, so if you plant a jalapeno beside a sweet banana pepper, when you save those seeds, that next year that banana pepper might be hotter than its parent plant was. But I have not heard anything about cross-pollination for that year. I think it's a thing, but I just don't know anything about it. I'll be honest. I tried to do the research. I don't know anything about it. So that's something that concerns you. Definitely look that up. It's a cross-pollination between peppers. But honestly, if you're concerned about it, just don't really plant hot peppers close together. Do your sweet peppers in one section, and then another section of your garden for your hot peppers. And at least they're a little bit more apart from each other, so that you still have to worry about cross-pollination in one garden, or even in your garden and your neighbor's garden. You know, that's definitely still a thing. But it's not something I'm honestly concerned about. I've never had it happen to an extent where that year the peppers got too hot beside the sweet pepper beside the hot pepper. The sweet pepper got too hot for me to eat. I've never experienced that. Again, you will experience that when it comes to saving your seeds. If you save seeds from a sweet banana pepper that's beside a jalapeno, it very well may be hotter than the parent plant. But again, that's still, for me, that's a risk I'm willing to take. The hottest pepper I have in my garden is a jalapeno, and I buy the Tam jalapenos because I really don't do a lot of spice. So my jalapenos aren't really that hot. So I'm honestly not too worried about it. It's a pepper. I like peppers. I'm fine. But if you are, especially if you're really sensitive to the heat, you might want to do some more research on that. But we're going to get all these peppers in the garden. So I have orange gummies, which are orange snacking peppers. They are my favorite peppers. I will say one of my favorite foods, and I don't know if maybe I'm just weird, but I think about this all the time. If I had I'm going to die and I have one more meal that I can have, what is my meal going to be? Part of my meal will be of these orange peppers. And I always make them, I slice peppers in half, I put a little bit of olive oil, pepper jack, I put pepper jack seed, a little bit of salt, and then some olive oil on top, and then I boil them or roast them in the oven for 7 to 10 minutes until the cheese is melted, and until the peppers have a really nice kind of start to blister. The peppers are kind of sauteed or roasted, I guess, a little bit. That is the best snack ever. Those peppers are so good. So simple, but so, so good. Um, However, I planted, I think, 5 orange gummies last year, and my plan with them every single year is I take them, I freeze them. Small peppers especially freeze really well. You can actually freeze them whole, and I freeze them whole. And then like right now, when I make dinner tonight, maybe I'll grab a couple peppers and I'll have that as my side in the wintertime. So it's a way that I can have peppers throughout the year without having to buy any peppers. So last year I planted 5 orange gummies, and I don't honestly know if my orange gummies did the best. I was really bad at fertilizing last year, so we're trying to be better this year about fertilizing them. But I'm going to up my orange gummy pepper plant number quantity. That's a really slow way of saying I'm planting more orange gummies. So the whole goal with this garden is I am really kind of bad at eating fresh out of this garden. I definitely do, especially zucchini, and sometimes tomatoes, my peas, I do. But the majority of this garden is for me to grow to put back for next winter. So my 90% of my broccoli will be frozen for next winter. All of my tomatoes will be canned and preserved for next winter. Peppers are canned or are frozen for next winter. So I'm trying to be better at enjoying the garden when it's coming in fresh. I'm trying to make a point of doing that more. I definitely do it, but I don't do it enough. So my hope this year is I'm going to plant more orange gummies so that this is a size that I could have like as many times this summer as I want to, and I kind of don't have to ration it. Previous years I have rationed my pepper consumption, so I'm hoping that this year I don't have to ration it. So I'm going to be doing, I don't even know, I don't know, 12 orange gummy plants, so we'll see how many I do. I just yesterday went and I planted my one girlfriend's garden, so she took some of my plants, and I still need to save some because I have another friend that I need to plant their garden. So I need to save some of these peppers for one or maybe even 2 people yet. Maybe even 3. I don't know. I basically just send texts to all my friends. I'm like, I have plants. Do you need plants? So we have orange gummies. We have 3 banana peppers that, like I said, I bought that we're going to be starting. We have jalapenos. Last year, so I always do cowboy candy with my jalapenos, and so I still have some cowboy candy. I need to make more jalapeno relish. I'm out of jalapeno relish. I have 2 birds in my pond right now. I have many birds. Oh, let me see if I can turn you around. Let me see if I can turn you around. This is cool. Sorry, I got distracted. I am loving that pond. However, I will say I was incredibly upset. I came home this week and there were 2 dead birds in the pond. 2 dead birds. I have no idea how that happened. And like you just saw, the birds are actually sitting on a pot. There is a pot and there is rocks in the pond. So I have no idea how these birds drowned in my pond. So it makes me feel good that I can see birds getting in and getting out, and I'm loving it. I will say the pond is, I don't necessarily know that it's leaking. I am having to fill it up every other day or so. It hasn't gotten green, and I think that's because I've been filling it up so much, because it is losing some of its water. But I don't know if it's just because it's evaporating or like things like birds are getting in and splashing the water out. I don't hear a leak. I don't see a leak. So I'm not quite sure what's going on with the pond in that sense, but I just keep refilling it, and like I said, I'm still loving it. Okay, so sorry, I got distracted by the birds in the pond. But if you ever thought about going to the pond, I think this is the proof that you need to go to the pond, because I am enjoying it immensely. Okay, so I have jalapenos. So I need to make jalapeno relish this year, and I need to make jalapeno poppers. I made jalapeno poppers for the first time last year, and they were really delicious. And I just loved being able to just grab a couple of them out of the freezer, throw them on a baking sheet, pop them in the oven, and I had a quick and fast snack. So when I plant my peppers, I try to figure out like what I'm going to do with my peppers, what all I need to make, in order to figure out how many I need to plant. So I'm thinking I don't need to have a ton of jalapenos. I already have cowboy candy. I still have jalapenos frozen from last summer that we need to use up in some way. So I'm thinking I could get away this year with 3, maybe 4 jalapenos. So we'll see about that. I have a habanada this year, my first habanada. I have no idea what this is. But it's supposed to be a habanero without the spice, but you still get that sweet flavor. So I think I'm going to plant 2 of these. I have 4. I think I'm going to plant 2 because they're not supposed to be hot at all. But I'm excited to try these. Like I said, I have a cayenne pepper and a paprika pepper that I'm excited for. And I think that's it. My bell peppers didn't germinate for me this year. My seed packet had come from the dollar store, and I normally have success from the dollar store, but none of the seeds I got from the dollar store this year germinated. I got cantaloupe and watermelon and bell peppers, and none of them germinated. And I don't know if that was a me problem or if that was I don't know. I don't know. And then I had, like I said, I had 2 packets of peppers that I have no idea what these are. I'm calling them surprise peppers. I don't remember if I started anything extra. I could go back and look at the video, but at this point, we're just going to, and I have shishitos. I am going to start a couple of shishito plants because they're really good. I just put dirt down my shoe. Anyhow, now that I put dirt down my shoe, so I'm going to do, I think probably 2 shishitos, and then a couple of these surprise peppers, because I have no idea what they are, but they're going to be a surprise. And then I also have my eggplants. My eggplants are going to go in today. And when you plant eggplants, you need to plant 2 of them so that they can pollinate each other. Sometimes, and I have planted both eggplants and tomatillos. I planted 1. And I guess there's somebody else in my neighborhood that had another eggplant or another tomatillo because both of my plants gave fruit. But those are 2 plants that really need to have at least another plant they need to cross-pollinate with each other. So sometimes even if you just have 1, you can get lucky, but it's always safe to plant 2. So I have 2 eggplants here. I actually have 3. So I think I'm going to plant all 3 just because I know I can't give 1. I'm not going to give 1 eggplant to a friend knowing that, hey, it may not do anything. All of my friends kind of had limited garden space. And while mine is, in my opinion, mine is limited, and everyone else's mine is very much not limited. I think I had the biggest garden of all of my friends, so I'll just probably throw that guy in the ground, and then I just have extra eggplant. I actually don't do a lot with eggplants. I don't really need 3. I could get by with just 1, but eggplants need friends. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to go dig out. I got a lot of grass we got to dig out, so I'm going to go start digging, and then I'm going to start planting. I got 22 pepper plants planted, and I'm going to give them a quick water with some fish fertilizer. composting about a teaspoon in this bucket that I'm going to top with water. It is supposed to rain today, but I normally do compost or manure with my peppers when I plant them, and I didn't do that this time. So I'm just going to get them watered in real quick with some fish fertilizer, and then if it rains tonight, great. If it doesn't, then they're set and they're okay. With this bed where I planted my peppers, this was one of my first beds that I put in, aside from my raised beds. It's my first in-ground bed. I think this is its 4th year. And so this dirt is fantastic. It's loose, it's dark, there's so much material in there. There's wood chips that are breaking down, there's leaves and straw that are breaking down. So this is a really great in-ground bed. So I have friends that talk to me all the time that ask me, like, how do I do all this? It takes so much time. And literally putting in these 22 peppers took me maybe 20 minutes because the ground was already loose. I just had to dig a little hole, pop them in, and kind of work my way down. And that's what I like to do, both putting in the garden and taking out the garden. I like to do it in little bits of spurts. If I do it too long, I'm like, okay, I need to plant 55 things today, it's not fun for me anymore. So I like to do it in spurts when I want to do it, when I'm enjoying it, when I'm having fun, and then it's not so much of a chore. With that quick, friends, we are done. So to get 22 peppers and 3 eggplants planted and watered in, probably took me less than half an hour. The trick for this space was that this is all good soil, it's loose soil, so I didn't have to dig, and it went really quickly. So if you've ever thought about starting a garden but you don't think you have enough time, I promise you, you have enough time. Spend half an hour one day, spend half an hour the next day, and before you know it, you will have a garden bursting with food. So thank you guys for joining me. I'm excited to see all these peppers grow, and I have so many both preserving recipes and fresh eating recipes we're going to try with all these peppers, so I'm excited. So thank you guys for coming along and keeping me company while I planted these peppers, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye, friends.